The chandelier glistened like diamonds in the grand hallway, but all that beauty meant nothing to Amara. On her knees, clutching the marble floor, she felt every stare pierce her skin like daggers. Laughter echoed from the young heir of the Kingsley fortune, Lucas, as he pulled on the leash tied mockingly to her wrist. "Crawl," he sneered. "Crawl like the dog you are." Her cheeks burned with shame, but deep within her chest, a fire roared to life. Amara had been through worse storms before: poverty, hunger, and abandonment. Yet something about this humiliation struck differently. This was not just cruelty. It was a declaration of war, and she would not be the one to lose. Amara wasn't just a maid. Before misfortune struck, she had been a top student in finance and economics, dreaming of working in global business. But life in her small town had dealt her crushing blows. Her father's illness, the debts piling high, and the desperate need for survival. The Kingsleys hired her as a maid because she was quiet, hardworking, and desperate. They never imagined that the woman scrubbing their marble floors once held the mind of a strategist who could outthink them all. Lucas was the spoiled crown prince of the Kingsley Empire, heirs to a 330M fortune built on real estate, luxury hotels, and trade. Entitled, arrogant, and cruel, he saw Amara as nothing more than furniture in the gilded palace they called home. For months, he tormented her with insults. But that night, forcing her to crawl, he crossed a line that would set destiny in motion. Amara spent the night sleepless, staring at the ceiling of her tiny servant quarters. The sound of her mother's voice echoed in her memory. "They may strip you of dignity, but never let them strip you of your mind." And that was exactly what she decided. She would fight not with rage, but with intelligence. The Kingsley family had always underestimated her. Lucas thought her too poor, too powerless, too invisible to ever matter. That was their first mistake. Over the next weeks, Amara began paying close attention to the inner workings of the empire. While polishing the glass walls of the study, she listened. While serving champagne at board dinners, she observed. And while cleaning Lucas's desk, she discovered what no one else dared notice: cracks in their empire. The Kingsleys had grown complacent, arrogant. Behind the glittering facade, debts were quietly piling up. Investors were growing restless. Amara began collecting everything: financial records accidentally left out, overheard conversations about secret deals, whispers of bribes. She stored copies discreetly in her phone, then in a hidden drive. But evidence alone wasn't enough. She needed power. She needed allies. One evening, while serving wine at a private banquet, she overheard a heated argument between Lucas and an important investor. The investor threatened to pull millions from the company. That night, Amara made a bold choice. She slipped the man a note: "I know the truth about the Kingsleys. Meet me." A fear raced through her veins as she waited for him in a cafe outside the city. But when he arrived, she laid out the documents she had gathered: the hidden debts, the fraudulent accounting, the way Lucas had gambled away millions in secret casinos. At first, he stared in disbelief. Then his lips curved into a smile. "You may have just given me the weapon I need." What followed was a storm. Amara partnered with the investor, feeding him the proof he needed to rally others. The whispers grew into roars, and soon multiple stakeholders demanded answers. Lucas, oblivious, was still busy planning yacht parties. When the board finally confronted the Kingsley family, their empire began to unravel in days. Banks froze accounts. Properties went under investigation. Investors sued for fraud. Headlines splashed across newspapers: "Kingsley Empire collapses amid scandal." And at the center of it all was Amara, the quiet maid they once forced to crawl like a dog. The most painful moment came when Lucas, stripped of his arrogance, approached Amara after his father was arrested. His designer suit looked out of place now, rumpled and meaningless. His voice cracked. "It was you, wasn't it?" Amara looked at him steadily. You thought I was powerless. But you were blind. True power is never in money. It's in knowledge, discipline, and dignity. Things you never had. She walked away without another word. But Amara didn't stop there. With the settlement money granted for her role in exposing fraud, she began her own foundation, funding education for underprivileged girls across the country. For her, this victory was never about revenge alone. It was about breaking chains for those who would come after her.